I read this story and thought to myself, of all the things, and there are budget constraints everywhere these days, right? Government's cutting programs. This one seemed to me sort of to come out of nowhere, and I can't possibly understand the rationale being used to cut it. It has to do, and I wasn't, frankly, to be honest, I wasn't even aware there was a program. Now that I read about it, I'm thinking this is a great idea. Why are they getting rid of this? So we're going to try to find out more. This has to do with a story that says the Correctional Services of Canada are going to stop funding CEGEP education in federal prisons in Quebec, a program, by the way, that's been running, I believe, for more than 50 years. And now all of a sudden, inmates were taking advantage of this. The whole idea, of course, when you talk about rehabilitation, I would think this is one of the parts of it where you can get part of an education that you couldn't get. So we thought I would try to find out a bit more here. Frédérick Armstrong is a researcher and a UNESCO Chair in Applied Research for Education in prison at Cégep Marie-Victorin. He is on the line. Mr. Armstrong, thanks for your time this afternoon. I'm kind of lost here, as I think most people would be in reading a story like this and saying, of all the things to cut, why this? What do you understand is going on here?
Well, I mean, you summarized it quite well. Thank you for having me, Mr. Rand. It is a bit puzzling. The way CSC is justifying the cuts is that they want to focus more on providing digitally supported education and online resources for inmates, and they want to focus on job market and employability. However, for the cost that they're cutting, it seems that it's just not worth it. And the documents I've seen, it seems that the person making the cuts is not even aware of the whole picture. I mean, the sentences that I've read talks about several colleges in Quebec being involved in this, and there's only one. So there's a clear disconnect between people making the cuts and people on the field. But it's hard for us also to understand. As you said, the program's been running for 50 years. It used to be in about more than 10 penitentiaries in Quebec. Now it's only 2. It was 3 5 years ago. So there's a trend for to cut these services. But as you said earlier, this kind of education, this kind of program really plays a key role in social rehabilitation for people.
I read as well in the piece, and this is interesting when you don't really think about this and then, read about how people take advantage of the program, which is obviously, when you're in prison, there's not that much rather you can take advantage of, but there are apparently people who, knowing that this is happening at a couple of, institutions, actually asked to be transferred there to take advantage of this.
Yeah, of course, because the way this one thing I didn't mention as well. So CSC is saying that their legal obligations is to provide primary and secondary education all the way through grade 12, because in the rest of Canada, high school finishes at grade 12, right? So in Quebec, we finished at grade 11. So that's that was one of the reason CEGEP was in penitentiary in Quebec only in the first place. But yeah, people get transferred because once you have your high school diploma, and if you don't want to work or if you don't want to do other kind of things, it's kind of the only way to get your mind occupied. It's the only way to get something to get something meaningful in terms of educational project if you want. So yeah, of course, people will want to be transferred, and it's very demanding. It's very difficult. The Cowansville and Joliette are minimum security prisons, so they need to be on their best behavior to keep to stay in the program.
I wonder too, and I'm not sure if I had the cost right. This is a program that they say is worth about $100 and some odd million to run. Is that the average cost here for that, as far as you know?
Well, as far as I know, so of course CSC is going to say that the program incurs more costs in terms of security or admin work. What they pay Cégep Marie-Victorin is about $200,000 a year.
Okay.
That's not much.
No, it's not.
And considering housing inmates is it costs an average of $110,000 a year. Like if you're going to save someone from recidivating or just getting a job, or if you're going to avoid reincarceration costs of 2 people, then you're pretty much done.
Right, exactly.
Getting your money back.
Is this the issue only in Quebec? I mean, the headline says it's in Quebec prisons. Is this the case across the rest of the country? Are programs like this in place other places?
So there are no full programs that you can do in other provinces in penitentiaries. There are courses that you can do. There are inside-out programs where people from outside go and follow courses inside prisons with inmates. And there are other opportunities for learning after high school. But in terms of post-secondary education in prison, it's the only one that's feasible. I mean, they sometimes they can do distance education, but since they don't have internet most of the time, it's mostly moot, right? So it's very costly and not very done.
So
in terms of
go ahead.
So in terms of post-secondary, it's the exception to the rule, really.
Okay. What happens? I mean, if this program, and I know there's obviously a move to have Corrections Canada go ahead and say, okay, let's go ahead and rethink this and try not to do away with the program because it's been beneficial, continues to be beneficial. So what happens if they eliminate it? Where are these people, where are these inmates who are there now able to go ahead and get any kind of additional education? Well,
that's a good question. I mean, so right now there's about 40 people who are enrolled in the program in Cowansville and 10 people in Joliette. Those people don't have a job. So when you're incarcerated, you have to do things, right? You have to work, you have to go to school, you have to get involved. Otherwise, you get problems for it. Basically, you get taxed more and so on. But so we don't really know what's going to happen to them. At least 4 people were about to graduate. 5 people would have graduated in next semester, and we don't really know what they're going to do. They're going to have to find a new job, maybe get transferred, learn a new. It's really hard to say.
I'm not
on the ground, but as far as I know, people are devastated, really.
Well, sure. I mean, whatever hope you had, you've been studying and you hope this could get you somewhere eventually when you get out. And then just to have the rug pulled out from under you, can certainly understand that. Is there some way, I mean, people listening now who are kind of maybe doing the same thing I was doing, which is, you know what? This is a program that's worked. Why would we eliminate it? Is there what do you reach out to your local MP, or what are you suggesting be done here?
I mean, the CEGEP itself had its board of governors administrative board. I'm not sure what's the correct word in English, but the Conseil d'administration. They sent a letter to the commissioner. I've sent op-eds today that I wrote with colleagues and have been signed by over 100 people. We will write to MPs and Quebec and Ottawa.
Okay.
And I mean, it's really penny pinching at this point. And the fiscally responsible decision is not to cut these things that we know work, right? We need to.
No, I was going to say, I think most people agree. It seems like beyond penny pinching, it just seems completely and totally unfair. So I hope the situation changes. Mr. Armstrong, I thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for being concerned for the rights of people to learn wherever they are and whenever they and however they can.
Appreciate the time. Thanks again.
I'm Dylan Playfair.
And I'm Tyler Smith.
We're putting loneliness in the penalty box by talking to some of our favorite athletes about the importance of friendship.
This is Bromance.
Bromance is brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian-owned and operated. Charm has been part of your love stories and bromances for over 50 years. And you can find Bromance on the iHeartRadio network or wherever you get your podcasts.